Hey everyone, welcome back to Rhythm Railroad. I'm doing a video on this device that I bought online. It's actually all over Facebook right now. It's called Smooth, and what it basically is it's a selfie stick first. It's telescopic, so as you can see here, you can shorten it or elongate it. But it's also a tripod, and it acts as a camera stabilizer. And the way that works is it's got a motor here and a motor here, and so you can stabilize the image both vertically and horizontally. So the reason I got it was not to take selfie videos. The reason I got it was because, as you can see, even just taking this video, it's shaky. You know, my hand obviously is not gonna be that steady. So I wanted to shoot steadier videos of the layout. More importantly, I didn't want to have to hold the camera while I was trying to play with the throttle and whatever. But the feature that I really loved about this when I first started doing some research on it is that it's got both face recognition and object recognition, and that's the really important one. I don't care about the face recognition, even though that could be good for presentations and things if you wanted to follow you around. But the object thing is really cool because, for example, if I want to follow this train around, I can literally select the train or part of the train, and the camera will know to follow that thing and keep it centered at all times. So I did test it out already. I was playing with it, and there's still a lot of settings and things that I have to play with to make it better. But I tried to run the locomotive from here all the way through to the bridge, and I was able to follow it just by selecting the locomotive side. Here's the problem though. When the locomotive's here, it's looking at it from kind of like from the front, and as it moves over, now it's looking at it from the side. So sometimes it thinks it's something else. It thinks it's a different shape. So I did lose it a few times by doing that. And obviously, if there's any interruptions, like the top of the station there got in the way of the image, and it lost it because it thought it was gone. There is a way, like once it passed that, I was able to tap on the screen and it found it again, but then it becomes choppy again, and the phone starts shaking around, so it's kind of useless. But I did notice that when I selected the boxcar instead, it picked it up much better. It was more accurate because it's a bright color. Well, that's what I think it is. I think the brighter colors are obviously easier for it to pick up. So just by selecting the boxcar and just zooming back a little bit, I was able to get the whole train in, and it still kept it pretty centered. But it will recognize the locomotive anyway. The only other thing that I found myself running into a problem with is that if you go too fast, the motors keep up with it, but the app doesn't. It can't recognize that shape that long, because by the time it analyzes it, it's like trying to figure it out. So it kind of loses it and then just drops it. So I think, when I was running it slower, it was perfectly fine. And I'm not talking like crawling. It could be like a good 20, 30, scale miles per hour. And it's picking it up. But that it doesn't even matter, because what I really wanted for is for situations like this, where I'm trying to switch out a facility and there's a lot of back and forth, and there's uncoupling that I have to do, and the throttle, and so I don't have enough hands obviously to do all that stuff and still keep a camera steady. Plus, I know most guys will set up a tripod and just have like a still image and the train moves, but you can't follow the train. So then some guys do like one camera here and one camera there and different angles, and then you got to go into editing mode, and it's a whole thing. It's a whole production. So I thought this thing was perfect, because if you just pick that yellow car, for example, it'll follow this thing around. I'm going to be hands-free. I could just worry about the throttle and coupling and uncoupling, and it'll be steady as anything, because this thing will stabilize itself. So I don't know if anybody else is using that, but I found great opportunity in that. And I think it's going to get better. This is still fairly new from what I understand. So as the technology gets better, I think the app will have some updates that will be able to follow things a little bit better. So anyway, we're going to try this thing out. So what you do first is you turn it on by pressing and holding, and what you're going to notice is that right away the phone stabilizes itself horizontally because it knows I'm going to do video. Now you can take this thing manually and just go like that and it'll be like a regular phone, but I want it this way. The next thing you need to do, and just pardon me while I do this, is get my phone to turn on. So I gotta just put the password in. Okay, so once you get into your phone like you normally would, you can use the regular camera app and this thing will work. But the point is that if you use the app, you have that feature that I was telling you about. So here's the app right here. Once I get into that app, what's going to happen is it's going to try to talk to the stick via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. So once I hit this thing, it's going to try to connect to the stick, and as you can see, the connection was successful. So now I'm synchronized. Now you can see there's a blue light and there's also red. Red just means that I'm low on battery. So you can see the battery gauge right there. It's picking up. It's saying that it's low. So I'm going to try to do this quickly before I run out of batteries. This thing is a joystick. So as I move it up, down, left, right, it's moving the camera also. So as you can see, I can find the train just like a regular, video camera that you have on on a tripod or whatever, but it's all electronic. And then here's the cool thing. So let's say I want to follow that boxcar. What you do is you go into this button. This button here gives you an option of either face follow or objects follow. And my iPad is what I'm recording with right now because I want to show you what this thing does while I'm recording. But it's got a terrible camera. This thing doesn't like to focus and it's grainy and it's not great. It's an old iPad. Anyways, so I'm going to go to object follow. And you can see there's a square there instead of like a little person. And now what you do is you literally select by drawing a box around the object that you wanted to move. So I'm going to take this and just draw a little box around it, and once it turns green, it's going to center it onto the screen. So now this thing's going to follow this thing religiously. So let's see if it works. So what happens is you hit record here, and you see it's recording now right there. And now let's see if once I move the train, if it'll follow. So as you can see, the box is centered and this thing is literally moving. See that? It's literally following the train to where it needs to be as it's moving here, which I think is amazing. So let's say, I'm going to drop off that hopper right there. As you can see in the camera, besides the low battery, see if I can do that without interrupting it. It's still trying to pick up the yellow car, and you can see the box got smaller there because it's further. So just to save time and energy, I'm just going to pick this up rather than I'm just going to do it manually here. I uncouple that. Now, once I move forward, we should have that camera move as well. So let's see. And there it goes. You see how it's following it? It's super stable, super steady. And then let's say, now I want to pick up that boxcar. Let me just switch the turnout here. I better run out of batteries, but let's see. It's still moving. And now forward. And as I go through, it's still going to try to pick it up. You can see it here trying to follow it. And there it is. Let's see how far it'll take it. It'll probably stop right there. Yep, see, because the station got in the way, so I couldn't figure it out. But still, once you get the right angle, I think it's pretty cool. So then all you got to do is you hit the record button, you press and hold, it stops it. It tells me that it's saved successfully. And then whatever, I'm just going to turn it off by holding the power button. And it'll just go back to its regular state. So that's basically it. I think this thing is going to really come in handy with my videos in the future, and it's definitely going to help get rid of the headache of holding the camera and keeping it steady and trying to, you know, prop it up and all that stuff. Like I said, there's pros and cons, but I think it's got more pros than cons right now for this kind of setting anyway. I probably won't use it for running trains and in long distances like that, because it just can't handle it in every situation. But so I'm gonna mess around with this thing, and hopefully I'll post some videos very soon. All right. You see it's recording now, right there. And now let's see if once I move the train, if it'll follow. As you can see, the box is centered, and this thing is literally moving. See that? It's literally following the train to where it needs to be, as it's moving here, which I think is amazing. So let's say, you know, I'm going to drop off that hopper right there. As you can see in the camera, besides the low battery, let's see if I can do that without interrupting it. It's still trying to pick up the yellow car, and you can see the box got smaller there because it's further. So just to save time and energy, I'm just going to pick this up rather than, I'm just going to do it manually here. I uncouple that. Now, once I move forward, we should have that camera move as well. So let's see. And there it goes. You see how it's following it? It's super stable, super steady. And then let's say, now I want to pick up that boxcar. Let me just switch the turnout here. I hope I don't run out of batteries, but let's see. It's still moving. And now forward. And I'm gonna go through. It's still gonna try to pick it up. You can see it here, trying to follow it. And there it is. Let's see how far it'll take it. It'll probably stop right there. Yep, see, because the station got in the way, so I couldn't figure it out. But still, you know, once you get the right angle, I think it's pretty cool. So then all you got to do is you hit the record button.